Okay, the Houston contingent is on its way. The Cougars will have head coach Kievan Sampson, senior Corey Davis Jr., and sophomore Fabian White Jr. After Houston's press conference, we will have the press conference for Memphis, who will have Coach Penny Hardaway, senior Jeremiah Martin, freshman Alex Lomax. With the win today, Houston advances to the American Athletic Conference Championship Final for the second straight year. Houston fell to Cincinnati 56-55 in last year's final. It's the fourth time in the 6-year history of this tournament that the number one seed has reached the final. Houston will be playing for its first American tournament title, their 7th conference tournament title overall. Today's win for Houston was their first against Memphis in a conference tournament since the 2010 Conference USA final, when the Cougars won 66-65. Houston is now 6-0 all-time as a number one seed in conference tournaments, 2-0 in the American, both wins coming this year, and 4-0 in the Southwest Conference. Corey Davis Jr. hit 3 3-pointers today, gives him at least 1 3-pointer in 30 consecutive games. Houston's school record is 32 straight games set by Damian Dotson in the 2016-17 season. And for Houston, Galen Robinson Jr. played in his 132nd career game today. If he plays in tomorrow's final and in the Cougars' first postseason game, he will tie Michael Young for Houston's career games played record. Okay, Houston is here. Again, joined by head coach Kievan Sampson, senior Corey Davis Jr., sophomore Fabian White Jr. Again, our format will be the same as it's been. We'll take an opening statement from Coach Sampson, and then we'll open up to questions for our coach and the student athletes. With that, Coach, congratulations on advancing to the final. Can we get your thoughts on the game, please?
Yeah, I thought our defense was outstanding for most of the game. You know, our biggest challenge was keeping Martin off the free throw line. You know, he's a veteran, has a lot of moxie. He's very clever, knows how to get fouled, knows how to draw fouls. And then, as we saw tonight, when you get to the free throw line, it's important to make them. You know, he scored 23 points, but he was 5 for 24. But the 12 for 14 was problematic for us. But you know, most of our wounds were self-inflicted. You know, we had some kids that just didn't play with a lot of confidence for whatever reason. You know, it's not this isn't rocket science. And then sometimes that unguarded 15-foot shot can be daunting. And that's kind of what we made it tonight. But credit Penny's kids. Penny inherited a situation that I don't think is easy. He inherited a really good team. You know, he's very fortunate to inherit the 5 guys that started tonight. You know, usually when you have a coaching change, you don't inherit a very good team. But he did. But what I thought that Penny did a great job was integrate those young kids with those guys. That's not always easy to take 5 seniors and 5 young kids and make them a team. And that's and I thought Penny was really, I thought he was outstanding. We hadn't seen Memphis since first week in January, I think, and it was obvious that he had done a really good job with this team. But proud of my team. I'm not going to sit here and over-evaluate tournaments, conference tournaments. Not when every time I go back to my room and everybody's losing and being sent home, and we won. So I thought it was great defense on that last possession. Didn't think about fouling. I've had moments where I have thought about fouling, but not there. I just want to make sure we didn't foul them. So helps to make free throws, though.
We'll take questions for Coach and the players. Raise your hand. We'll get a microphone over to you. We'll start right here in the middle.
Kevin, was this one of your toughest games of the season, if not the toughest game, especially that second half?
Define toughest game. Yeah, well, usually when you get to a conference tournament, you don't play a road game. You know, that's unique. You know, when if you look at the SEC, and SEC's in Nashville, ACC's in Charlotte, the Pac-12 I think is in Las Vegas. Who am I missing? Big East at Madison Square Garden. Who else am I missing?
Big Ten.
Big Ten, I don't know where they are. Where are they? Chicago, maybe? Indianapolis? So, I mean, that had a factor. You know, the good thing about when you get the NCAA tournament, they're on neutral courts. But that crowd was a factor tonight. I thought they buoyed Memphis. We got up 13. I think we're up 13 with about 5 or 6 minutes to go, maybe. And then that's when we started missing the free throws. And, you know, like I said, you know, if we're up 11, we miss 2 and they make 2, now it's 9. You know, we started playing that game way too much. You make your free throws, you're probably going to win by 10 to 12. But like we've done for most of the year, you know, we had some games where we had no business winning. You know, it's not like we're some juggernaut. You know, we never said we were. You know, we could have easily lost to St. Louis. Could easily have LSU. We're down 15 to LSU and came back and won. Had those games been on neutral court, we probably would have lost them. But we were at home. And when you're at home, sometimes your fans are a huge, huge advantage. And we beat LSU because we played them at home. Had we played on neutral court, same with St. Louis. But that's why you have 9 road games and 9 home games in conference play. Next year when we go to Fort Worth, you know, it'll be a true conference tournament because it'll be a true neutral site. Like this game coming up, Wichita State's playing Cincinnati in Memphis. That's a neutral site. But I told Penny after the game that I admire the job he's done. He really has. That's not easy to inherit. He inherited a good team. I'm not saying he didn't inherit a good team, but to integrate those new guys with these veterans, and he did it seamlessly. So a lot of respect for him for doing that.
Over here on the left.
Coach Sampson. Hello. Coach Sampson, near the end of the game, you were running that 5-guard lineup before inserting Fabian back in. How did you think that 5-guard lineup performed while they were on the court together? Well,
if they made their free throws, they'd have been outstanding. You know, it's kind of like, are you a golf fan? When guys shoot 60 and 61, what do they usually shoot the next day? 72, 69, 60, 73, and you say, well, why couldn't you? They're human beings. You know, Nate Hinton yesterday looked like, I don't know, you know, lottery pick. Today he was in the witness protection program. I couldn't find him. Where was he? You know, but these are lessons. Basketball's a hard game. It wasn't as easy as we made it look yesterday. We're not nearly as good as we played yesterday. And Connecticut's not nearly as bad. But when one team's playing downhill and the other team's playing uphill, you're going to have a score discrepancy like we had. We're not nearly as good. The problem is sometimes these kids think they are, and then the good Lord will say, you know what, son, I'm going to humble you. Do not disrespect this game. It'll get you. And but when you shoot 14 for 27 from the free throw line, you usually lose those games. We found a way to win them because our defense was good tonight.
Stay over here on the left.
Corey, 2 questions. One, did it kind of feel like in the second half that the other Memphis players kind of got caught just waiting for Jeremiah to do something? And then secondly, they're not going to be on the NCAA bubble even after this loss, which means he's never going to get to the NCAA tournament. Any sympathy for another guy that's got great game? It's not going to get to experience that.
To answer your first question, I mean, Jeremiah had going, honestly, from the start of the game, so I guess they were nitpicking when he got the ball and just let him do what he does best because he's an amazing basketball player. He can play off the dribble, shoot the ball, just draw fouls, and he was doing that very well tonight. I mean, I'm actually good friends with Jeremiah, so I mean, to know that he won't be able to make it to the NCAA tournament is kind of sad, but not to, my discrepancy because I didn't want to not go to the championship. So, I mean, it's a win-win situation.
Over here to Terry.
Coach Sampson, Memphis never got over 25% shooting for the game. What did you do defensively to keep them off track?
Well, let's be honest. I mean, this was their 3rd game in 3 days, so I'm sure that that played a factor. Because they had some shots that I'm sure they normally make. That's why, the conference tournament is a little bit of an outlier. I don't know that we always crown our best team. Sometimes it's Memphis is a good team. They've been a good team for about a month and a half, maybe 2 months now. You could see them getting better and better and better. But if you're not one of the top 4 teams, it's difficult to win 4 games in 4 days. It's tough to play that 3rd day. I've been in that boat. When your kids play as hard as they play, it's just hard for them to be good. So I'm not going to take credit for that shooting percentage. I think fatigue on their part probably had a lot to do with it too. Not to take anything away from our kids, but they're a lot better than that.
Stay over here on the right.
Fabian, can you just speak to how difficult, when Memphis was coming back down the stretch there, how difficult it was to play in that kind of environment, especially at the line, when everything's kind of going the Tigers' way?
Well, at the line, when the first one feels good and you miss it, the second one kind of gets to you. But the crowd, the energy that they had, and the way Thornton was going to the offensive boards really helped out with them coming back, because without those second chance points, I don't know if they would have been in the same position as they were today.
Go in front to Sean.
Hey, Corey, I'm from Alice Daly at Temple, so I hope you don't mind the question, but I wonder if you could compare, you got called for a charge in the last minute here, compare that to the charge you got called in the last second at the Temple game.
Honestly, I don't really have an explanation for one of those. I mean, that's just kind of a discipline thing on my part. I mean, both times I've been told many times in practice to just go vertical instead of trying to go forward, and they just seem to catch me in those positions a lot. So, I mean, that's just discipline on my part, and I got to do a lot better at that.
We won one and lost one. That was good.
Go over here to the left.
This is for Corey and Fabian. For you guys, whether you're active on the court or sitting there on the bench, do you think it's more exciting as a team, or do you guys get more excited about like a great offensive play or a great defensive play, and why is that?
Honestly, I don't think we weigh them any differently. I mean, a good play is a good play at the end of the day, and we want to make sure that we're all being successful. We like to see each other be successful, so our energy never changes when it's on offense or defense. Like, it's just one of those things that we just level out and we just treat the same.
Time for one or two.
Same thing that Corey said, but we get extra hype on when we get a stop, because that's what we pride ourselves on, defense. So when we get a good stop and we're able to go down the other end and get a good offensive play, we pride it on defense, so we get excited on that.
We have time for one or two more. In front over here.
Coach, does Corey get enough credit for his efficiency? If you look at the number of shots some other star guards need to have that kind of impact, and what he's able to do with his efficiency.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch Corey's improvement since his first day he stepped on campus. You know, his personality is a lot like his game. You know, he doesn't have any highs or lows. There's some kids that are so emotional that they're like on the 85th floor, and then when their things go wrong, they're in the basement. You know, Corey's pretty much the same kid, and I think that carries over to his game. He's never has a bad practice, never has a bad game. Some days are better than others because he's a human being, but he doesn't force things. You know, we tried to get him the ball and keep the ball in his hands because he's an 88% free throw shooter. But they're doing a good job of denying him. But you know, those other guys have to step up and make their free throws too. But Corey's just solid. You know, he's an outstanding player. You know, I thought he was the best player in this league this year at both ends because he's an excellent two-way player. He plays both ends the same.
Last one for Dick.
You got to use the mic, Hoops, for God's sake. You're 90 years old.
Thanks, pal. When you've won as many games as you guys have, how hard is it to maintain levels of consistency every night?
Well, that's a great question. You know, I think you focus on who you are. I don't. You know, I was just sitting here looking at our record, 31-2. You know, that's surreal. You know, I had the Final Four team we had, I think, was 31-4, 31-5, something like that. But this team has been so good just about every night at one end of the floor. You know, we're a good offensive team, but we're not a juggernaut. You know, we don't have a lot of great shooters. But I think we focus so much on the process, you know, and the how we get good. And you know, we never. For instance, we have a ritual after game. I always go in and put our record on the board, overall record, our conference record. Then I put who we play next. And of those three things, I think the one I focus on are, you know, kids are going to get their cue from their coach. I mean, it's just the way it's always been. We just always move to the next game. You know, like we're going to play the winner of Cincinnati and Wichita State. So nobody mentioned our record or any of that. We've got to go back and get ready for the next game. And then tomorrow was also Selection Sunday. We were in the same position last year. We played in the championship game, and Orlando, and went up to a suite in that arena and found out where we were going, and we'll do the same thing tomorrow. So we're very much a process team. We focus on we've been doing this from day one. Our first big win this year was at BYU on the road, and ever since then it's just next game, next game, next game, and that's why it's always amazing to me the finality of a season, because you're always focused on the next practice, the next game, the next meeting, the next this, the next that, and all of a sudden it's over, you know. But I've got a great group of young men. I'm very honored and lucky to be able to coach them every day, and this has been a fun ride, and we'll ride it as long as we can.
Houston, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, Memphis is here. We're joined by Coach Penny Hardaway, senior Jeremiah Martin, freshman Alex Lomax. Again, we'll take an opening statement from Coach and then open up to questions. Coach, your thoughts on the game, please.
Yeah, it was a tough game for us. We understood what they were going to do. They are who they are. They come out, they play hard for 40 minutes. They play the same way every night, so you know going into the game what you're going to get. We just didn't meet the challenge. But we fought hard, very proud of the guys for fighting hard and staying in the game and having an opportunity to extend the play going into overtime. But it was just made too many mistakes on the game plan today. And every time we made that many mistakes on the game plan, we've come out on the losing end of it. So especially when you're playing these type of teams, great teams like Houston. So overall, I'm still proud of the guys and, for fighting and staying in the game.
Two questions for Coach of the student athletes. Raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. We'll start in the front with Isaac.
Isaac Simpson, Rivals Tiger Sports Report. I know you guys, this is for Coach Hardaway, I know you guys didn't reach the ultimate goal, but how would you kind of assess the season?
I think the season was a success, especially the way it started off. We changed so many lineups early. A lot of things were going on, new coach, new system. It took a long time for the guys to really fully buy in as a group. But overall, I think the success was the season because we saw them go from being just an average team to being a really good team. Honestly, we didn't shoot the ball well today, but to hold Houston scoreless the last probably 6 minutes, 6:40, and to only hold them to 61 points. That was a defensive game. We just couldn't make enough baskets to win the game.
Go over here to Terry, please.
Hey, Coach, your team never got over 25% shooting, but you was always in the game. Coach Sampson said it was due to tired legs. Is it something they're doing, or you just not converting on execution?
Well, you got to give them credit because they play so hard, but we missed a lot of open ones as well. And that could be due to all the minutes that the guys logged, leading up to this point. And, 3 games in a row. We don't want to make excuses, man. We just had to get it done. It is what it is, and we know it's 3 days in a row. And we just fell short.
Questions? Over here.
Coach, coming in your first season, having a guy like Jeremiah, senior like that, how important has he been this year, and what kind of a legacy do you think he's left here?
Oh, it's been big for us to have him because without him, where would we have been? He's done a phenomenal job. I had him off the ball earlier in the year, and he didn't look like himself, and then put him back on the ball, and everything went back to normal. But it's been huge to have him because he's been our savior, honestly. He's put the team on his back and done some phenomenal things. We've asked a lot of him. We played him a ton of minutes this last month and a half, and for him to get through that stretch and still do what he did was phenomenal. And his legacy, I think he's in the top 10 in Tigers in scoring. I think he did all of that this year. And being here for 4 years, he'll go down as one of the better guards that we've had here. And I'm hoping that his season isn't over.
Over here on the left.
Coach, what are some of the positives you think you'll be able to carry over from – oh, sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Oh, me?
Go ahead.
Sorry.
You're good.
All right. Sorry. Coach, what do you think are some of the positives you'll be able to carry over from this season to next season?
We just learned a lot from the losses. The losses have taught us the type of culture you got to have, the mindset that you have to have, the attention to detail, the seriousness of working on your own game, the seriousness of the game plan, everything that goes into what the great teams do on a nightly basis. It can't be optional. It has to be a part of who we are. And we've learned that from playing all these teams that we've lost to, that if you're serious enough about it, you got great leadership, everybody's believing in the culture, and not fooling around and messing around and then think it's just going to happen in the games. I think that's what we've really learned, to just have fun, but have fun doing the things the right way next year.
Go to Jeff.
Jeff Calkins from the Daily Memphian. Penny, did you notice the crowd as you left the last time? They stood to applaud in appreciation. I don't know if you noticed that at all. And then secondly, what did you had 2 open looks. Tyler had an open look and Jeremiah had an open look. What were you going for on both of those? Is that the way you drew it up?
Yeah, well, the first one with Jeremiah, definitely. But to the fans, I was out of it. I was in thinking mode and my head was down, and I should have gave a wave to the fans. They've been phenomenal to us, and we love them just as much as they love us. The first play that we ran for Jeremiah was a play that we worked on all year. It was wide open. He missed a shot. The second play, Rainier didn't have the timing properly on it, and it still ended up in Tyler's hands, and he still got a good look at it. But it didn't happen properly. It was supposed to be a back screen for Tyler to go to the corner. And I think he went late and then came back up to get the ball when Kareem tried to shoot it, and Rainier was supposed to slip towards the basket, and Tyler would have came right back into that spot, but Rainier caught the ball and then just handed it to him. So it wasn't a proper execution on the second one.
Jeremiah, 2 questions. First one on the last shot when it left your hand. Did you think it had a good chance of going in? And 2, was Houston about as physical with you tonight as anybody had been all season?
Yeah, I thought I was gonna make it. I really didn't have a good shooting night. I haven't shot well this whole tournament. And yeah, Houston, that's one thing we already know. They're gonna come with physicality every night, no matter who they play against. And they did a great job on me. And I can't make no excuses about any calls that I didn't get, but we just didn't. My shots just didn't go in.
The back.
Coach Beating, Darren Randolph for WRG TV. Coach Sampson said your team has been improving since the first game y'all played, and pretty much the last couple of months that your team has been one of the best in the league. From your observation, what have you seen improvements between the opening of conference play to now?
All aspects of the game, we've gotten better. I mean, you name it. I mean, from preparation to understanding, to how serious we take the game plan now, to taking film seriously. It's like it wasn't there early, and you could tell. And that's what happens when you come in and you have a new coach, new system. It takes a while, and I didn't expect to have Rome built in a day. When I first started, I just wanted to kind of gradually get better, and around this time, be as good as we can be, because this is where you want to be gelling and peaking. And that's what's happened. The guys have really grown a lot. We're more defensive-minded, even though we didn't get the stops we needed to today all game. Got them at the end, but didn't get it all game. The mindset is so much better. So definitely proud of them.
This is for Coach Hardaway. Kievan Davenport said right here.
Okay.
Kievan Davenport said he was injured in this game. How much did that affect him, and how much did that influence your decision to go small down the stretch?
Well, I wasn't aware of the injury that Kievan had, and once I found out, it was the game like right before jump ball. And I kind of watched him, and the coaches were telling me to take him out of the game because he couldn't jump or run. And I let him play a while, but to see if it would loosen up, because I didn't know what the injury was. And he played decent. He just wasn't boxing out and wasn't playing to the level that we needed him to. And the last time we brought him out, it just seemed like he couldn't go. And then I think the coaches asked him if he could go back, and he said no. He would try, but he wasn't confident that he can go. And that affected us as our second leading scorer. Not in our first our leading rebounder. You can't have those minutes played on the court against a team like Houston. Then it's much tougher.
Go over here to Terry.
This question's for Lomax. Lomax, you've hit a 3-pointer in the last 3 games, and you've been one of the dirty work players that Coach Hardaway does. How do you use that confidence going forward into next season?
I just got to keep working this summer. Just keep having confidence. My coaches and teammates have been believing in me lately, so I just got to shoot the open shots. And my mindset is always just play defense, go out there, and if the shots come to me, just take it with confidence.
We got one in the back over here.
Coach over here. Just the energy from both the team and the crowd was at a different level in that final 5 minutes. Can you tell us, from what you saw, what flipped that switch to get you guys within 3?
Well, they tried a couple times earlier when we got within 10 and we got under 10. They got loud because they were trying to motivate us. They were trying to get us over the edge, over the hump, and we just couldn't get there until really late. But the energy from the crowd was phenomenal. It was I always liken it to a playoff game in the NBA. It's just that magic that you get when you need that crowd to give you the energy to make a shot, to make a winning play. It was crazy. I felt that it was very nice to feel that. And then we got back into the game, had a couple chances to extend the game. It didn't happen, but the fans were great all tournament.
One right here.
Jeremiah, you guys knew you probably had to win the whole thing to get into the NCAA tournament. Corey Davis said you guys are friends, and he's sad that you're not going to get to have that experience. Has it hit you yet that is all the great things you've done that, that experience isn't going to be part of it probably?
Kind of, but, everything happened for a reason. I don't question God. He know my path, so it is what it is. I'm just going to go out and, if we be in the NIT, I'm going to go out and play hard just like it's the tournament and try to win it.
One more over here, then we'll try to get a couple more in front over here.
Yeah, so Jeremiah, optimistically, there's more basketball to be played, but if not, how do you want to be remembered as your time as a Memphis Tiger?
Just somebody that was loyal to the city, came out and played hard, got better every year, and, just loyal, to be honest. I stayed home, could have done anything else, but I felt like this is where I wanted to, be and give my all to my city. So.
Yeah, but in front for Mark, please.
Penny, you mentioned you're walking off the court in thinking mode. What do you think you will remember about this game, not just next week, but as you go in the off season, as you build this program? What will you remember about this one?
That we had an opportunity. I thank God for the opportunity to be in the game like this. We didn't seize the moment, but we put ourselves in position to beat Tulane and to come back and beat a good UCF team, to put ourselves in position to play a top 10 team in the country. That's what I'm going to remember. And I'm going to take that energy that I felt going into this game and leaving the court both into next season.
Okay, take two more. Start here.
This question is for Alex. Alex, how much have you grown as a person from when you first stepped foot on the University of Memphis campus to present day? How much have you grown?
I came a long way from day one. Mindset totally changed. More mature after being around Jeremiah and other seniors all year. They taught me a lot of different things, and I'm just going to take something from each one and just hopefully can put it into the team for next year, and just keep trying to guide guys into the right direction and be a leader, and hopefully we can just get the job done for the rest of this season and just keep trying my best.
Yeah, we'll take final question from Jeff.
Penny, do you want and expect an NIT bid, and would you like it to be home? I gather Tuesday might work.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely want an NIT bid. I want these seniors to have an opportunity to still win a championship. I mean, we want our season extended, and we definitely want one. We feel like we deserve one. We played a tough schedule and really didn't fare well against the bigger teams, but we're playing the best basketball that we can play. One of the teams that are playing the best basketball in our conference. So with beating UCF a couple times, beating Temple, teams that are going to be in the NCAA, I think that we deserve it.
Memphis, thank you.
Thank you.